Hello Virgo, I hope you're doing really well. So today we are going to be doing your August reading, and we are using 2 oracle decks, 1 tarot deck as per my usual standard, and we're going to start with the oracle decks, see what they have for you. And just a quick side note, this month we're going to focus on your love life. So it's very important that you take what resonates and you leave the rest, because obviously you can't read for the whole internet, but I sure do try my darnest. If you want a more in-depth and personal reading, I do offer that. Check the description down below. So, without further ado, let's just start here. And this is one of my newer decks. Actually, 2 of these are pretty new. They have only been seen in the August reading so far on my channel, so I am very excited to use them more. Alright, so we got 2 cards here. So the first one is the card Loyalty. Very, very beautiful card. I don't know if it wants to focus, but if it doesn't, I will read it. Your reliability demonstrates your loving sense of devotions and consistency of being. And the other one we have is Detachment. You are releasing old patterns and ideas that no longer serve your highest ideals of love. Alright, so if you're in a relationship, it might be time to clean up a little bit. Look into old habits you have done with people you have been with before, or old patterns you had when you were single that is no longer serving this relationship. So it might be a good time to clean this up. And also with the Loyalty card, I feel like it is important for your significant other or the one you have in mind that you demonstrate your loyalty in August. This does not have to be like a big devotion thing. Just, you know, be there for them when they need you to be there. So let's see what else we have. These cards are always really, really difficult to shuffle, I feel like. I do my darnest, but it's always when they have a weird shape, it's kind of funky to shuffle. Alright, let's see. When it comes to matters of the heart, there's no right or wrong. Every choice you make expands your understanding of life and love. Right, and this is a really good point. So, what we do in our love lives in general, whether it's someone we're going to stay with for the rest of our lives or it's a short-term partner or whatever, it builds on our character and it builds on the way that we are going to see and experience life and love moving forward. So basically, as my good friend Sandra always says, if it's not love for life, it's a life lesson. And that's a really good point. Let's move on a little bit here. So with that as well, it is important to remember that if you're feeling like this is a relationship you need to get out of, or if it's a relationship that no longer serves you, it's important for you to become okay with the fact that this did not go well. And that's really, really hard, because heartbreak is a hard thing. But at the end of the day, the relationship you were in or are in that you might be ending is teaching you something, and it's teaching you something valuable. And that's why I, in my personal life, try not to regret things I have done or seen or experienced, because at the end of the day, yes, there were bad times with exes, of course, but I still learned valuable things from them and from being with them. Trust. Okay. Transformation occurs through acceptance. Once you accept the current situation, it will automatically transform. See, that's what I was just talking about. And that's really beautiful as well. So if you're in a relationship that you're thinking about ending, it's important for you to trust the process of that and trust that you will come out okay on the other side. If you're in a relationship that you're not about to end, or if you're trying to get with someone right now, I feel, again, it's very important that you trust the process. Don't try to hurry things too much. It will not serve you. It's important that you sort of let the universe do the work, and you know, trust that if this is someone you're meant to be with, things will happen at the time that it needs to happen. So let's move on to tarot and see what other things we can see. And also, I feel like trust and loyalty may be something you want to work, well, that was fast, work on in the relationship in general right now. If you're having trust issues with your partner, August might be a good month to sit down with them and try to resolve these issues. Because and I know some of you out there have a tendency to do this, like you go through, goodness me, like you go through each other's phones and you want the passwords to everything for not reasons of convenience, but for reasons of trust issues. So, and that's not particularly healthy. So let's see what we have there. Alright. Yeah, I definitely see for some of you, it is time to walk away. We have the 8 of Cups here, and realize that what you have had has been a good thing, but not all things, but some good things must come to an end, and maybe it is time that you consider that seriously in August. We also have the 6 of Swords here, which is going on a journey alone. Now, this does not mean that you are necessarily leaving your partner. It can mean that, and it's okay if you do. It's also about standing on your own 2 feet in August, so try not to be too dependent on your partner in August. Because you do have this King of Pentacles spirit inside you. You do have the ability to stand on your own 2 feet, judge by yourself. And that is a really important aspect, I feel like, of a person, is being able to differentiate yourself from your relationship. And it can be a really hard thing to do, because I know myself, I have been in a relationship with the guy I'm with for about 4 years now, which is great. But I did have a point a few years into the relationship where I was like, you know what, I am having trouble finding myself anymore and finding who I am. I was sort of like morphing into this relationship person, if you can say that. Like, we had a lot of shared interests and that was great, but I was sort of like going further and further away from myself. And I feel like that's something you should probably look into and look like really deep dive into yourself and be like, am I still being me in this relationship? Do I still have my hobbies? Do I still have, you know, this and that? Do I still enjoy and do the things that I did before? Because keeping up with yourself is very, very, very important. I also see that August might be a month for you guys to look into the money aspect in general of your relationship, and maybe see if either this isn't time to get shared economy, or maybe it's a time that you separate the economy a little bit more in your relationship. And taking a step back in a relationship is no shame. It might be good for the relationship, and I know that that can be a really hard thing to talk about with your partner, but at the end of the day, sometimes necessary. Now, if you're single, I don't feel like this month for you is a month where you need to focus on love. If you're single, this is a time where you need to walk away from this desire of wanting to find someone really badly. And I know, since you clicked on this video, you're probably in a position where either you're with someone, or if you're not with someone, you really, really want someone in your life. And I completely understand that, and I fully recognize that this might be what you wanted to hear clicking on this video. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you. And I feel like what's best for you right now is to focus on yourself, on your career. You have a big journey ahead of you. You have something where you need to go alone. You need to learn to stand on your own 2 feet, and you need to build up yourself and work towards your higher self, if that makes sense. You need to, when you find this person, you need to be able to, you need to be as well rested within yourself as you can, and that takes time and it takes a lot of work, and you might feel like you're ready, but I don't feel like the universe thinks you are. And that is, again, it's absolutely no shame. It's just sometimes we need to focus on ourselves before we find that perfect partner. So apart from that, another thing I want to add in this, that I do feel like this is in general focused on a few of you out there who needs to look into trust and loyalty in the relationship in general. Again, we have the detachment card as well. I feel like you need to look into also if something is hidden in your relationship. And I know that kind of goes against what I just said about, you know, sitting down and talking about trust, but then again it kind of doesn't, because if you want to talk about trust with your partner and you want to talk about how you can move on from these possible trust issues, every card also needs to be laid on the table, and that both means for you and for them. So if you truly want to be okay moving forward trust-wise in your relationship, it is very, very important that you lay everything bare on the table, and the same thing goes for your partner. And that, again, it might be a very, very uncomfortable situation, but when we talk about these things, we also let ourselves release these things. And that is, at the end of the day, the goal with all this, because if you can move forward as a more united front, that is ideally what you want. You want to be together against the world, not you and your partner against each other and the world, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's pretty much all I wanted to say for this reading. I really hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you want a more personalized reading, I can definitely do that for you. You can see all the information about that in the description box below. Apart from that, I really hope you enjoyed this little reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!